Now that we have filled in our item list and made our text styles, we can now begin to make the stencils that will define the look of our text layout. Stencils are the building blocks of how our information will be displayed. Basically, they are just bounding boxes that we call zones that our information will be plugged into. Let's start by making a stencil for the hamburger item from our Frank's menu. First, we will measure the overall size that our stencil needs to be. As you can tell, we need our stencil to be about 550 pixels wide and about 120 pixels tall. Now, each data point in our item list will need its own space inside the stencil. So we'll break it up into 3 zones. Zone 1 will be our item name or label. And when we measure that out, we're looking at about 450 pixels by 70 pixels. Zone 2 will be our price, and we'll need about 100 by 70 pixels on that zone. Our third zone will be our description at the bottom, and we'll make that one 550 by 50 pixels. Start building the stencil by clicking on the Layout tab. Next, click the Stencils button. Click the plus sign to make a new stencil. We'll call our stencil Burger, and we'll give it its overall width of 550 by 120 pixels. Click the Commit button. Now to make our zones, we'll click on the Zones tab, and we'll start with Zone 1, and this will be our label. Now, as we saw before, we're going to make this one 450 pixels by 70. For content type, we want to pull from our Items tab, so we'll click on the Items button. For the display type, we want this to be the label. And for the text style, we'll click the drop down, and I made these earlier. And this will be our item text style. Click on the Commit button, and now we'll make our price. And that one was 100 by 70. Now we want it to show up to the right of the label zone, so we'll give it the horizontal offset. And the text style will be price. And third, our description will be 550 by 50. And this one will get a vertical offset so that it shows up underneath the label and price. And that is going to pull from our Dynamic 1 field. We'll choose our description font style. And now we have our 3 zones made. To see what they'll look like, go to the Preview Content. Pull down the item that we want to use. And we'll just copy and paste that for the item, price, and description. Next, we'll go up and we'll click on the Preview button. And you can see now that we are finished with our stencil and all of our text fits inside the zones. If you have any questions or issues, send us an email to support@deelmedia.com.